I personally feel you're a very good absorber of people. Like first you'll absorb them, then you'll absorb their skills.
But I started the 1% club to pay for my MBA as well, because I had saved up a certain amount of money, but US MBA is worth 2 crores and I did not have so much. So the entire system is rigged right now because the media is able to influence SEBI more than us.
Yeah, a very popular name, Mr. MS Dhoni. You met him twice this year itself, right? Once you shot an ad with him. You sat on you had a picture. You gave him your book as well.
Yeah.
And last week you did a 45-minute, 50-minute panel session with him.
90 minutes.
90 minutes panel. That's a lot of time, bro. How did this creator, finance influencer, became an entrepreneur and raised 10 crores from Nikhil Kamath? Today we had Finance with Sharan on the podcast, and we discussed the recent SEBI regulations, raising from Nikhil, meeting MS Dhoni twice in 1 year, his way of living life, and how much money does he make. So subscribe to this channel and tune in to the whole episode. So bro, it's been almost 2.5 years since we started working in this industry. I remember the first time I was in Bhopal when we first had a conversation about representing you. You were at 5,000 followers, and today you're about 6 million plus followers across the internet. Yeah. So I want to understand this journey from being a creator to creator entrepreneur, which not a lot of people in our country has been able to do.
So firstly, I'll address why I started the 1% club. So I started Finance with Sharan to fill the extracurricular section of my MBA application. But I started the 1% club to pay for my MBA as well, because I had saved up a certain amount of money, but US MBA is worth 2 crores and I did not have so much. So I knew I needed another source of income. And in my mind at that point of time, still, it was like Finance with Sharan is still a hobby. It's not like I had thought of this as a long-term career. So I'm like, Finance with Sharan is making me money. So the next 6 months until I go to US, I want another source of income. So that's why I started Masterclass. Right? It is not called the 1% club.
Yeah, it's Freedom Club.
Right. And as I started it, then I also started getting more paranoid that Finance with Sharan has a shelf life as well. So this, if I work really hard at it, it could last decades, right? Finance with Sharan views might eventually drop, but once a business is set, and if you give it the right kind of team, nourishment and resources, it can last much longer. So that's why the decision to start the 1% club and be so serious about it eventually. And then now we have a team of 50 people, right? So paranoia really helps. And I think that is a very, very strong attribute that a successful founder needs. Yeah. It should be a good mix of paranoia and knowing how to control your mind from time to time. So it should be a switch. You need to be able to switch.
Controlling your mind as well?
That is hard. Because if you let paranoia be 24/7, it's a horrible life. You don't want to live like that.
I personally feel you're a very good absorber of people. Like first you'll absorber.
Absorber.
Yeah. First you'll absorb them, then you'll absorb their skills.
What does that mean?
Once
observe and then absorb.
Correct. Okay, that's what you do. I think that's like a special skill wherein you can take one skill from me, one skill from other, and you're able to very quickly use it and implement it. That's what I feel. But what do you say?
Now that I think about it, it makes sense. 100%. I think we are all born dumb.
Yeah.
Right. And we are all a product of the people that you surround yourself with.
Correct.
And when you met me, you yourself knew that I was not the business-minded kind of a person.
Right.
I didn't really understand how
the world works.
How the world works, right? And business is about understanding the world and people's intentions.
Yeah.
And now that I surround myself with you, billionaires, entrepreneurs, fintech founders, now I'm able to observe them and absorb them. And now I've become a very, very knowledgeable person, I would say. And it has happened over a span of just 2 years. So I think the biggest learning is that no matter what you studied, what you think you know, or how dumb you think you are, and I would say I was really dumb 2 years back compared to today, right? And I can't even imagine being that person, what that 2 years back person was. So much has been the growth, and it's all because of networking, surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. And the missing piece for most people is that most people network, okay? Like most of the people in our friend circle network a lot. But I think the additional thing that I do is quick experimentation. Right? I go at it. I don't, just put it in the back of my notebook saying I'll do this one day. Like most people, who you talk to who are working in 9-to-5 jobs, they're like, I'll work till I'm 35, 40 and then I'll start a company.
Yeah.
But that mindset is ingrained in Indians, even in the entrepreneurial level. where they are so used to doing what they're doing that they don't give time for new initiatives. So I think I really prioritize time on new initiatives, and usually half of my time is on new initiatives. Surrounding yourself with the super successful people who are better than you does to you.
Yeah.
Initially it is FOMO, and then you have two things. It's either jealousy or inspiration. That is the differentiator. Most people choose the first route, jealousy, and then try to put them down. I, more often than not, so I also get jealous, but more often than not, I choose the
channelize
second
that
one.
energy into getting inspired and action.
Yeah.
Taking action into it.
Instead, I force myself to respect them. That is hard to do, especially when you see that somebody who is of your age or younger than you or slightly older than you is doing way better than you. It's hard to force yourself to respect them first. So you respect them first, learn from them, and then try to do what they've done.
Got it.
In your own way.
Talking about creatorpreneurship and 1% Club, how was that shift from being a creator, dependent upon the algorithm, and now being a founder when you have more things in your control? As a founder, you have more things in your control as a creator.
Yeah.
How has that shift been? And what would you suggest creators today who are trying to start their own thing and get into entrepreneurship?
It's a great point, because the reason why you said I work 12 to 14 hours a day, and back when I was a content creator in Bangalore, it was literally Netflix and chill. Like literally, right? 3-4 hours a day, I used to just write some scripts and shoot some videos, and the rest of the time I'm just watching Netflix, and I'm seeing you slogging your ass for 12 hours a day, and I'm like, I don't want to be like this guy.
I remember.
But the reason is that as a creator, there's only so much you can do to control your outcome.
Yeah.
Sure, you can study a lot of other creators and do all of that, but that again there's no like a defined way of doing how to become a better content creator. That's why I've written that book. That's my attempt of how to become a content creator.
0 to viral.
Yeah, but still it is quite hard to kind of understand what to do next. Because creator is always 0 to 1 journey, right? Every 6 months you are in a 0 to 1 journey as a creator.
Again and again.
Right? So you don't know how to make that 0 to 1 again and again and again. But as an entrepreneur, there are some set rules that you have to follow. Right? There are some certain teams that you have to build, certain cultures that you have to instill, meetings that you have to do, reviews that you have to do, following up that you have to do. So it's more in my control. So hence, that's why I work 12 hours a day or 14 hours a day, because now I know what to do. And like, if that is the problem, these are the things that need to be done. So I fill up as much of my waking hours with solving these problems. So hence I work much longer, and it's much more clearer what needs to be done.
What helped you? What will help a creator today to take the journey that you did?
What will help a creator today is, first is to own your distribution. First, try to protect what you've built. So what I mean by that is social media is just a number is shown to you. Let's say I have 2 million followers.
Yeah.
5 years later, that even though it's saying 2 million followers, if the reach has reduced by half, it's not 2 million followers. It's actually 1 million followers.
Correct.
Right? So protect your distribution first. And I launched the email newsletter, which has about 2 lakh readers now. Like one of the highest reading audience, like 40 to 50% open rate of this email newsletter. And most finance newsletters don't get this kind of open rate. So very happy about that. Now we are launching something new, and we actually already launched 3 months back. Something, first time in India it's being done. It's called a WhatsApp newsletter.
Yeah.
Because India is such a WhatsApp first country. So we're like, let's create a WhatsApp newsletter and send messages every single day.
The comic, right?
Right. So even if Instagram is not showing my face to my audience every single day, if I have your WhatsApp number, I can show you with 100% certainty. Even if you're not opening it, at least it comes in a notification. Finance with Sharan sent you a message.
Yeah.
So we started that as well, and that has about 40,000 people. So I think first is to own your distribution. Then figure out what is the closest problem that you can solve associated with your content. For example, there is this content creator called Lisa Mangaldas. Right? She's a, sex influencer, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Right? So she has now started a sex toy kind of a
D2C
business.
company.
Right?
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. And she didn't really have to do all the work. She actually partnered with somebody else. So that is called operator. Right? So find an operator who can help you understand the business acumen, because most creators do not have the business acumen. Due to no fault of their own, they did not study. It comes through experience, right? It's not something that you're born with. And plus, you don't want to allocate all your time into running the business, because then your content might suffer.
Yeah.
And that is something that I'm also now struggling with, because I'm doing both simultaneously. And it's quite hard to do that. And earlier I made the mistake of, devoting 90% of my time on the business and 10% on content. And now it has become 50-50, and things are now seeing, stabilizing. So I think finding a good co-founder is important for a creator.
Yeah.
So find that person who is the operator, person who knows what to do with your distribution.
Correct.
Find that person, and the only way you can find that person is to meet more people, and not just other creators. Meet the founders of the companies who you're promoting, because they will know certain potential people who you can work with. That's what I think. I give you credit for that, because you sort of, without asking me, you used to just put up in my calendar, today we're meeting this, today we're meeting this person, this founder ko milna hai, aa jao mere saath. So, like that definitely helped, right, in the beginning. What we do with our free time defines what happens in our life, especially for the growing middle class of this population, and especially for the young generation of this country. What you do in your free time determines how successful you be in your life. So I think we should really create a culture among the young generation to create these house party gatherings. Right? It doesn't need to be like, billionaires coming there and all. Right? That's not the point. The point is calling the same people, but in a different theme.
Correct.
From the point of learning, talking about what you're doing, and exchanging ideas. When who does that? Like, we were not doing that before becoming content creators. Now that we surround ourselves with such people, we are doing that, and now we love it. But there was nothing stopping us from doing that back then also. We just didn't do it.
True. Now that you mentioned this is something we have been doing in Mumbai a little bit. Like, we'll get together, 2-3 friends here and there, and we'll talk about our learnings and all that. But if we do it more, the compounding of my learnings plus your learnings, 1 + 1 is like 11. That is what comes in.
And that is what happened with us also. No, you said 2.5 years we've known, and the learnings that we got from each other is the highest.
Correct.
Right?
Two things here. First, as a creator, your mindset should be to try to control your distribution, because tomorrow if you want to launch something, it will always be easier for you to get that initial traction when you control your audience. For example, for you,
control your what?
Control your audience. For example, for you, it was the newsletter 30,000 people who helped you launch the masterclass, gave you the confidence that this is something that you can do. And the second thing is meet new people who are not in your circle, so that you expand your horizons, and that is when you get the new ideas. Broadly for creators who want to get into entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Got it. Now talking about Finfluencers.
And one more thing I would just like to say, like, even though I have 2 lakh email newsletter readers today, when it began, I just put out an Instagram story and a couple of reels, and it had reached around 25,000 people, and it has grown over time.
Correct.
So don't don't misinterpret that, because I have so many followers, it became 2 lakh. It has grown over time. It has taken me 1 year to build that. Right? So it takes time.
Correct. So I was talking about Finfluencers. We have been in this industry for 2.5 years also. 2021 was a great period for us. 2022 is when we saw stagnation, and this year has been a little tough. Thanks to the regulators as well. SEBI has been behind us. Both for good and bad reasons, I would say. What's your take on that? Like, SEBI with the regulations coming in, not being able to differentiate between personal finance creators and stock market creators. What's your take on that?
First, I'll address this question from a philosophical point of view. That, like you said, the first year was fantastic. 2020, 21 was even better, and 2022 was even better, and 2023 is the hardest year. But I will tell you, if we go into the future version of both of us, 40-year-olds, and talking what was our best years, I will say this is one of the best years. One of my favorite years, because failures and hardships teach you so many things. The personal development both of us have had, the learnings and the growth in our business and content creation or whatever is highest in this year, because there are so many hardships, so many setbacks and all of that. So I love this year. If you see, the challenges have increased, but so has the growth. Not just in terms of, personal growth, but also in terms of, if you look at it from a business point of view, revenues also have increased. So it's just that the problems that you will have is bigger, because you're playing in a bigger league now. That is what has happened. Now let's talk about the more important point, which is SEBI's consultation paper on Finfluencers. Firstly, like I've been telling on various news outlets, I'll tell you that what SEBI is doing is absolutely correct. Right? The intent of SEBI is to stop people who are manipulating people by giving them the dream of get rich, by asking them to trade and giving them trading tips in exchange for money. And as you know, as Nikhil Kamath said, more than 95% of the people in India lose money by trading, and it also becomes an addiction after some time. So that is 100% correct. And SEBI is also after RIAs, which is like a SEBI registered entity. And they are also doing these kind of frauds. Same, the funda is same, the fraud is the same. Fraud is Telegram channel mein leke aao, show them the dream of get rich, ask them to pay a subscription fee, give them stock tips, 50% they'll say buy, 50% they'll say low, they'll do that, this. People will lose money. Funda is the same. The people who are doing it are different.
Yeah.
Earlier it was, this some SEBI registered entities were doing it. Now, Finfluencers, as they are called, are also doing.
I agree that SEBI is doing the right thing. Just that they should have, I think, spoken to people like us. We are also stakeholders. They haven't spoken to us.
Yeah.
Even when the consultation paper came in, at least they had, there was a section that we replied to.
Yeah.
Or you replied to it, I replied to it. Bunch of our creator friends also replied to it. I just hope after that it leads to a dialogue between us as well, where we can put forward our viewpoints.
Yeah.
You putting a YouTube video out there, a LinkedIn post out there, I putting on post out there, Akshat putting on post out there helps a little bit. But I think when the regulators directly speak to us, we give them what our viewpoint is, that is when they'll be able to take better decisions. Otherwise, I think it'll be biased.
Again, the problem is same, right?
Media.
So the entire system is rigged right now because the media is able to influence SEBI more than us.
Yeah.
Now SEBI, if you write an email to SEBI, what will SEBI think? All that context of the past, which of talking to the media, reading the articles about Finfluencers, their perception is already that.
Yeah.
So and they'll just look at us, be like, okay, these guys are millionaires, they don't know what they're doing. Why talk to them? I think that's what's happening.
I agree. Yeah.
So I'm not going to blame SEBI for that because at the end of the day, what information is given to you influences you. Hence, all that thing with the US and Europe wanting to control Meta and Google is for this only. Because more social media is influencing us so much that it's also affecting elections.
Correct.
Right? So I don't blame SEBI for this.
But I hope if anyone from SEBI is watching this, they come and talk to us.
I hope so.
That would be great. But moving on to, you mentioned a name, Nikhil Kamath, co-founder of Zerodha, probably the most trusted fintech of our country. And they have invested in your company 1% Club, right? They have investing 10 crores at 110 crore valuation.
That's right.
And I think by the time this video is out, the
It's
news
not
is
announced
out as
yet.
well. Congratulations on that,
Thank
first
you.
of all.
Yeah.
But that also tells you that the company which is most trusted in the fintech space has been there for 13-14 years, extremely profitable, is banking on a finfluencer like Financial Sharan to educate the world about finance, to build a edtech plus a fintech product about it. That tells you a lot that, it's going in the right direction. Even though the traditional PR is trying to change the narrative and do a tug of war with us, the real founders, the real people know what's happening and they are supporting you. How does that feel and how's that journey been of raising from Nikhil?
And I'll just add more to that the Zerodha co-founders are not just, the most well-respected in the fintech world. They are very well respected in a lot of other circles as well. And recently they also got, their mutual fund license.
Correct.
Which is very hard to get. It's not about, whether you are a billionaire or not.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. It's about, there's also something known as a trust and fitness test. I don't know what the exact term is. It's something like a trust and fitness test. And it's very subjective. It's not like I need to have so much net worth. My company should be so big. It's very subjective and depends on what the authority thinks about you. And they got it.
Yeah.
Right? So they're very, very well respected in the ecosystem. Now, the journey of raising with Nikhil Kamath started long back, I would say, right from the first interaction. Again, thanks to you. I think back in my Netflix and chill days, I was watching Netflix. You were like, hey, there's a podcast with Nikhil. Let's do it. Right? I remember those days, right?
I remember.
And that time
There's
it was
a
like,
vlog on my channel about
I remember we went in a rickshaw, going to a billionaire's house in a rickshaw, right? So right from that day, last year, and that video has 1.1 million views. 1 hour with a billionaire. That is the title of the video.
Yeah.
And back then, I just went like a fanboy, right? Like, like very...
That was the first podcast.
And first time talking to billionaire also for us, right? So we were like, stuttering a lot. I mean, I was stuttering a lot. I remember how and my first podcast as well, right? I was very, very scared. Then about 6 months back, 4 or 5 months back, I reached out to him out of the blue saying, hey, I wanted to talk about what I'm doing. That's it. I knew it was like, shoot in the dark. Maybe 10% chance of success. I just like, let's just do it. What's the harm? He said, yes, come over. He said, come over, let's talk. I'm like, shit, okay, this is happening. Right? So that happened. Then I went to Bangalore. And then Bangalore, what happened was, in that process itself, I met my co-founder as well. Right? It was very fast. Right? And usually I take a lot of time in making a decision, but sometimes when it's right, it's right. It's sort of like, when people say love at first sight or whatever, right? Yeah. This is not love, but business at first sight when you look at that. So we met, we spoke for like almost 4 or 5 interactions. spoke about a lot of things about how my business can be improved. The reason why I went fast ahead with it, because I really liked the way he put so much interest in my business, went to the extreme depths of it, told me exactly how I can improve. Because you see, when you reach a certain stage in your career, usually sometimes what happens is you get surrounded by a lot of yes men. And whatever you say, they are like, okay, that's good. Right? It's very difficult to find people who are very critical of you after a certain point. And once you find that person, and when that person is making sense and is addressing all the problems that you're facing without you telling those problems yourself, tells that this person really cares about what you're doing. So I found that in my co-founder, Raghav Gupta. We met, and then we started talking about, how to pitch to Nikhil Kamath. There was a gap of about a month. How to pitch to Nikhil Kamath. We made a story. Instead of making a presentation, we made a book out of it, like a small 15-page book. We go there. And before going there, we met some other, influential people who said, be careful, talk to us also after that, all of that was happening. So it's a very mysterious situation. We go there. There was another person called Abhijit Pai, who is Nikhil's co-founder in his VC, Gruhas, right? He was also there. So we both went, we presented for like 15-20 minutes. And then immediately the negotiation started. Like, I thought, okay, they'll call us another time. It'll take 3-4 meetings. It'll take another 4-5 months. Immediately they're like, how much money do you want? What is the valuation? Right? So all of that started happening. And they offered us something like 10 crores at 60 crore valuation. We had expected, something like 250 crores. Right? And then we went back. They're like, you take some time. We went to his massive balcony, which is like an apartment by itself, Nikhil's balcony. We were talking over there, like what to do. We are looking at the entire city of Bangalore, and they're like, what to do? What's happening? Do we take it or not? Then we go back in, and then we say 10 at 100 crore. Post money, it becomes 110 crore. We say 10 at 100 crore valuation. And they're like, yeah, that is also what we wanted. They're like, we also wanted the same thing. Then like they give the hand, shake hand, done. All of that happened in like 1 hour.
Wow.
In 1 hour, the company was valued from nothing to 100 crores.
Talking about 10 crores sitting in your bank account, how has money changed your life? Aspect. As a creator, you have made money. As a creator, you had achieved your fire number. Like as a person, your the fire number you had, you have achieved that via creator as itself, right? Now you're doing this company. How has this new normal been as compared to Sharan that used to work as a consultant?
See, I think what most people might think, or at least the people that I grew up with, if they have to look at my journey and my life, they'll be like, bro, Sharan is sorted for life. Million followers, crorepati, and what could possibly be wrong in his life?
Everything you need, you have.
I mean, his life is perfect. And then I thought, that is exactly what we think about movie stars, exactly what we think about cricket stars, Virat Kohli and all of that. And then I reflected on my life currently. It is not perfect, bro. I mean, because like I told you that earlier thing, we are in a new league now. Because you're in the new league and you've accepted that, the problems are still the exact same amount. What my problems were working in KPMG 9-to-5 job, the number of problems I had, or the amount of mind space that my problems were occupying in my head is probably more now. More of my time is spent on problems because the problems are more, because the game is bigger.
Correct.
So, I would say life has not changed that much in terms of whether life is sorted. That has not happened. And I don't think it should ever be sorted also, because that is the beauty. And I asked the same question to Dhoni also. And he said problems is what makes life beautiful. Because if there are no problems, then what's the point of life? Because everybody loves a rags to riches story. Everybody loves a person who's an underdog. There's a reason for that. Because the story is beautiful. And if you want your life to reflect on your life and say, I had a good life, you need to have these sort of things. Right? So, and that's why I said that this is my favorite year. Because there are so many problems, so many struggles, and the learning has been so much more. Having said that, money does wonders to your life, right? Having reached the fire number, I had made a Twitter post also, 6 crore is the number which I think that if a middle class Indian hits, they will be sorted for life in terms of money. I have surpassed that. And the best part is that one thing is for sure. whatever happens, because I'm not splurging it, I didn't buy like 2-3 cars.
People think that you have a Mercedes, but he does not, guys.
That is not my car. That is somebody else's car that I borrowed for a video. But most people in my position, would have bought 3-4 luxury watches, one super bike, another 2 cars. They would have probably spent half of their money on indulgences. I didn't do all of that stupid mistakes, right? I saved all of it, invested in the right places. So I know that even if shit hits the fan, the money is now a machine. So that is the beautiful thing about money. If you accumulate enough of it, it becomes a machine. And the machine generates more money, which is enough for you. And that sort of is like an employee for you, which is paying you money.
Money makes money.
Money makes money. But most people are never able to reach that because they don't understand how money works. They don't understand how to do financial goal-based planning. They make some stupid mistakes across their, because they're only focusing on their career. They're only focusing on making money. They're not focusing on what to do with that money once it hits my bank account.
Right.
See, when you're in school, you have nothing else to worry about. You're just studying. And your teacher is also there strict to make you study. Now the bigger problem is people have already graduated and working a 9-to-5 job. Now to make such people study finance is a gargantuan task. Because finance is first boring, complicated, and teach it to a population of people who already have a 9-to-5 job. How do you do it? That's why we created the 1% club. And we teach it in a very fun way. Like within 4 weeks, we are able to teach people how to manage their money and sort out all their financial needs of their life. I'm not saying that they'll become rich at the end of 4 weeks. They're taught the skill set to do it. And that is the game changer, right? Almost 30,000 people have done it, and we're just growing day by day. So that is what Nikhil Kamath has invested in, because he knows that is important to build the fintech ecosystem. Because today, because India is financially illiterate, the fintech ecosystem is struggling, and it's struggling really hard in the B2C segment.
True.
It is struggling. The customer acquisition cost is through the roof. It is so high that no matter how much business you are building in terms of teams and all of that, the money that you'll be generating out of that customer is still not able to match the CAC, customer acquisition cost. And this is because the financial literacy in India is low, right? India is a low trust society, and when it comes to money, it's even low trust. So this is required. Financial education is important to build the fintech ecosystem.
Right. And you mentioned a very popular name, Mr. MS Dhoni. You have met him twice this year itself, right? Once you shot an ad with him. You sat on you had a picture. You gave him your book as well. And last week you did a 45-minute, 50-minute panel session with him.
90 minutes.
90 minutes panel. That's a lot of time, bro. 90-minute session with MS Dhoni. What did you learn from him? And what is one thing that you saw in him, because you've seen him so close, that people don't know?
I think first time I shat my pants. I didn't even speak like 2-3 words. I was just like this. And whenever he said something, I just laugh. I just be like smiling like an idiot without saying anything in back. That was in the ad set. Then after that, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't speak anything. Can I go to his van? I just asked somebody, can I go to his vanity van, it's what it's called, to have a proper conversation with him. I go there. I still think that is the most scared I've been this entire year. When you enter the van, there's a red carpet to enter his van. You enter it, then you walk towards him. He's sitting over there. Imagine the guy who made us win the World Cup, and I'm walking towards him, just me and him in the van. I'm walking towards him with my book, right? There also I spoke like 2 sentences. That's it, 2 sentences. I mean, it's literally like, it's an unimaginable experience, unbelievable experience. It's like nothing that I've ever felt in my life. It's sort of like, I would not say walking towards like a god, but like people consider cricketers like gods in this country.
Just the aura and the context of that person.
Because they are so loved and so respected in this country, your mind automatically makes you believe that I'm in the presence of something divine. Although they are normal people like us, but your mind tricks you, and that's why I couldn't speak anything. So that I regretted that first interaction.
Influence is too strong.
Influence is too strong. So I regretted that first interaction because I felt like I didn't do much out of it. But then I got another opportunity, this time to interview him and ask him questions in front of hundreds of people. Even more pressure, because now I'm like, so many people are watching, so many people are on their phone, recording this.
People are posting it on Reels, on Twitter.
Instantly tweeting about it in real time while I'm doing it. So imagine, I'm sitting next to MS Dhoni with Tanmay Bhatt on the other side, asking him questions. 200 people in the audience, taking photos, taking videos, and tweeting in real time. So the pressure is even higher. But this time I was able to ask a lot of interesting questions, and I think all of those videos have gone viral. And of course, because of him. So I think what's special about him is that he is able to remain grounded even though he is what he is. He is able to talk to you like a normal person itself, right? He has zero sense of superiority, absolutely no sense of, I have made it in life, I've achieved everything, none of that. He is as normal as any human being can ever be, right? Even though I am nervous in front of him, he makes you feel very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
And like if he was not MS Dhoni, he would feel like he's just any other, normal person that you're talking to. Like it was very, very like nice experience, I would say. It's one of those days you'll never forget for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened after the day I met Dhoni or the before I met Dhoni, but I'll remember that day for the rest of my life. Right?
That makes you feel like if this guy, after achieving so much, can be so grounded and so humble, there's no reason I, with my limited success, should be like feel superior or like not feel humble. But one thing I would like to appreciate about you here is that, and it also goes back to what you said, yes man thing, that I don't think we are each other's yes man. Like whenever I'm doing something wrong, I'll be like immediately fuck my case and same. I'll be like, bro, this is not done and all that. And I think the God complex, whenever I used to tell you, you would always take it from a analytical perspective, and you will think about it and you will try to improve upon it. You'll not just brush it away. Like people who will be deep into the God complex, they're like, "Chalna tu kya bataya?" You were never like that. So I think that is why you never got deep into it.
And you're the only person. You and my sister probably are the only people who I listen to when it comes to being critical of me. And any other person, because of that previous God complex, I would have said no. But because it was you guys saved me at the right time and brought me down.
So bro, we covered a bunch of topics. We covered Nikhil Kamath, raising funds, SEBI, you achieving your FIRE number. You mentioned that FIRE number is 6 crore and you have well surpassed that. You already mentioned that. So the audience wants to know, how much money does Finance with Sharan has? What is the net worth of Finance with Sharan?
Paper value, if you include the valuation of the company, will be like 70-80 crores.
That's a lot.
But liquid, I'm actually going to make a video soon to talk about the actual numbers. Because I feel like, and the reason why I'm not telling right now is because talking about money in India is a taboo.
Correct.
So I'm making a very risky move talking about it, but I want to do it because I genuinely feel I want to change the mindset. Now, even if 100 people, troll me for doing that, I know that maybe 30-40 people might benefit from it, right? So I want to talk about exactly my net worth, how much money I make, how I make it. So I'm going to make a separate video on that. For now, let's just say that every month I make 50 times more than what I need. I'll just say it that way.
And I think primary reasons of you achieving that is the power of influence that you have. The influence you have over people. You also mentioned Dhoni as an influence. Influence, that persona, that branding that you have. And just because of that, I feel, because influence is something which can be learnt, and I've discussed this with you a lot of times, that we are coming out with something on how to learn influence, how to learn brand, and for the audience, for them to learn.
Another something which is not taught to us in schools.
Exactly. It's also a life skill. Now that I think of it, it's also a life skill which should be taught to us. If I think about it, LinkedIn is where my influencer brand was first made, and that's how I am where I am. And I think that people should learn about it. And I have put in a link here in the description as well. Put your email and other details here. Sign up for the waitlist. We'll get back to you with something very interesting.
Yeah, I've been talking to him many times. It's very interesting. And I'll tell you one more thing, why it's so important. I'm reading this book called Homo Deus right now. And it was trying to decipher why human beings are the most advanced species on this planet. And the reason is not because of our intelligence or our soul or whatever.
Sharing of the thoughts.
It's about our power to influence other people. And work with thousands and thousands of people for a common mission. And that is the power of influence. And only human beings are able to do that.
Correct.
No other species can do that. Right? And we are able to do that for max maybe 4 or 5 people of our friends. Right? But the ability to do that for maybe 10,000 people, 20,000 people on our social media platforms.
Which content enables.
That, if you can do that.
Very good point.
It helps you to create a business out of it.
Yeah, correct. Thank you so much, bro. It was a great conversation. We did it like hardly 55 minutes, but feels like 2-hour conversation. Very precise and
very precise, and I think this is how it should be done.